Hello everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I hope my voice will be audible to everyone, and I'm going to start with the session now. And thank you so
Yes,
much
sir.
everyone. Thank you so much Abhishek sir and Chandan sir. Almost I think you have covered most of the part which I had to cover already. So I'll just try to concentrate upon those points which are not yet discussed and also important, right? So this is my screen. I'm trying to show you my screen also. Let me know whether if you will get my screen presentation, and let me talk about those number of points which are, just give me a moment. I hope my screen should be visible, right? Is that?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, okay. So I hope most of the part of this particular topic for the initial day is already covered, and let me show you what I'm going to finish up in the next couple of days. This is what I found, the syllabus of RTU, right, Rajasthan Technical University, and this is what I found need to be done in practical ways. So I hope I will cover 2 days of session of first day and second day today itself. Maybe I'll try to cover the third day also, because these are very small experiments, and I hope many of you are already experienced with the programming and circuitry part, so I should not discuss more in details about those small parts. So I'll go with every single point. I'll start with this day one. uh, Let me know if my voice is audible to everyone, and so that it should not disturb you for any part of understanding in between. If I'll cover most of the part of this particular thing, the initial day, like we are discussing about IoT with Raspberry Pi. I'll try to summarize everything. What is Raspberry Pi? What is IoT? And how both of them are connected? What are the other things we need to do? And what the other part of the devices or sensors we need to have for making the IoTs, right? Let me start with the PPT, and also get let me know the response of yours, whether my voice is audible and the screen is also visible to you all. If it is possible, I'll just go with it content now.
It is audible.
Is that visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So let me tell you. However, I have already spoken so far about this particular topic earlier. Please respond me in between if you get my voice broken in between, so that I get the feedback from your side, and I should remove or improve my quality of internet, or the voice quality, right? So this is what I have already spoken so far. Sir has already explained, Chanda sir has already explained many things, right from the details, right? And it was really wonderful explanation from his side. So I'll try to cover what he has not spoken so far, and maybe he has left to speak about this particular industry. So IoT is the industry now. Like IoT has started, however, this Raspberry Pi is not started for IoT industry. It was just a small experimented computing device, where other computer devices like display, keyboard, LAN cables, USB ports, or maybe cameras, such kind of devices, along with the experimented pins were given. So this was the wholesome idea, like because in your computer you cannot connect your sensors. In your computer you cannot connect motors, LEDs directly. Your indicators you cannot connect directly, right? So for that purpose we have got one particular device, Raspberry Pi. Other than Raspberry Pi, there are many devices in the market, and like Raspberry Pi, there is one Apple Pi, one is Banana Pi, right? One is Nvidia Jets and Nano, right? So there are many other computing devices which are based on processors. Like sir has told, this Raspberry Pi is based on Broadcom chip, right? Broadcom chip It was totally designed for a processing part, and yes, we had a particular particular frequency of operating the internal processing units, and that was of 1.2 gigahertz of frequency. So the inception of this particular Raspberry Pi has taken place from Raspberry Pi 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Right now 4 is running in the market. Also we got Raspberry Pi 0 for small devices. If you are aware with the kind of hardware running in the market, the popular hardware for the freshers running in the market, those are Arduinos, also Raspberry Pi. So Arduino is totally a different platform of microcontroller side, or you can say the controlling side, and this particular Raspberry Pi is totally for the processing part, where processing part is needed, wherever the highest processing part is needed. If you're talking about camera, if you're talking about voice, if you're talking about display quality, if you're talking about number of sensors, if you're talking about internet facility, if you're talking about maybe Bluetooth, if you're talking about other wireless systems, maybe GSM, maybe Zigbee, maybe other similar frequency 434 megahertz of frequencies, there are many other platforms which you are required to process a lot of devices together, right? Where you need such kind of long devices. You need a huge amount of devices to connect together and process huge amount of data at one single place. Therefore you cannot build it that particular kind of system at controller microcontroller part. So Raspberry Pi has huge advantage in those kind of terms. Even though if like there's a screen and you can see that there are number of devices connected together, right? So if the Wi-Fi kind of device is the controller part, if you want to control, or if you want to process couple of devices coming from, or the data coming from number of sensors from different locations of the city, right? So you cannot collect that together in one particular location and process that to have meaningful information, no. So that particular part, however, the individual part of that particular sensor can be done through Arduino, through other kind of microcontrollers. To process huge information, we got Raspberry Pi. So this is what I want to cover, the rest of the part. However, the most of the important part is already covered by Chandan sir, right? So people are talking about why IoT. So let me give you my perspective, my understanding about this particular field. This field has evolved right from 2014, and yes, few industries like Microsoft or Google or Amazon, or even in India, TCS, Tata, Jio has taken place to start with some IoT ecosystems. But initially, the first release was a small video from Microsoft and Google, both in the same year in 2014. To release a small kind of environment where people can understand the importance of IoT. So I picked up this particular field right from 2014 itself. So it's been 6 years for me just to start with the IoT, and before that it was easy for me to just pick up this particular field, because IoT has foundation of 3 engineering branches together. So I was already connected with those kind of engineering branches, so I was quite able to pick up this particular field for me. So these 3 branches are electrical, to get highest amount of power if you are required to operate couple of devices. The second is the DC power with the frequency, which means the electronic part, electronic telecommunication together. And then the third part, to make this particular device communicated with others, or maybe the major master device to communicate with others. So we got computer science branch also. So we had a foundation of this ecosystem of IoT with 3 major engineering branches of electrical, electronics, as well as CSE. I hope this particular FDP is been through with these three departments only, right? So this is where IoT has taken place from the engineering side. So my understanding tells about this why IoT is, because earlier, before 2014, what was the possibility of making devices communicated to each other was through PLC or SCADA, right? If I want to monitor some data, which is, suppose I have industry, I have industry, available in Chandigarh, and I'm placed in Jaipur, suppose. So I want to visualize all the data, all the machinery information, what kind of production those machines are taking place. So every particular data I want to visualize at one particular place only, right? In Jaipur itself. So we had different kind of mechanism. We had SCADA systems where supervisory control was taking place. Nowadays, what happened is, if you want to monitor every small scale data, like sir has played a video where a sensor was placed in fridge, right? So think about a day where fridge will let you know where if sorry for the interruption, where if you need to communicate that particular huge amount of data. If you have a fridge, if you are placing number of sensors in the fridge, if you are thinking whether what if fridge will notify you whether the amount of milk which was purchased every day is finished today, and you need to purchase that particular milk again and again every day, and you have to go to those shops, right? If you want to ignore such kind of routine of yours, if you want to just automate this particular routine of going to shop and purchasing your milk packets, right? So what you can do is, you can have sensor placed in a particular fridge, and this fridge will get to notify that particular shopkeeper that milk is not available in the fridge, right? So in that way, if every small scale implementation where devices are going to communicate to each other, PLC or SCADA system will be used. So what will happen? The cost of the system, cost of the automation, cost of the automatic industry will be very very vast, and will be very huge. So this investment will not be taken place from last many years, from last 2 or 3 decades, just because the investment was very huge. So as long as the industry of electronics was evolving in the different ways, and yes, internet connectivity also, the communicating devices were getting invented or were getting involved, right? So we got some couple of options after last decade. Maybe I'll say by 2011-12, we got some kind of options. Like the initial options were Wi-Fi, or you would say Bluetooth. These two were the options. Like you might have seen in different kind of application to share your files from one phone to another phone. So these were the options initially implemented in IoT ecosystem. Then we have got different kind of other communicating devices also. So why IoT ecosystem? Why people or industries are picking IoT ecosystems nowadays, right? So I'll come to what is IoT. I'll come to how to implement this IoT also. But let us understand, this is my understanding about this field. This is my personal opinion about this field, about this particular answer of why IoT ecosystem. So IoT ecosystem has been developed just because of reducing the cost of that huge implementation of the automation industry. If you want to develop ecosystem for automating industry for every small scale, suppose in your car there'll be 10 number of different sensors, and will be communicating to maybe the same manufacturing company, maybe the petroleum pumps, maybe the police stations or hospitals. Suppose if my car will be crashed, or will be getting will be if I'll hit a particular car by my car, right? Any accident will be taking place. So in that way, this car should be notifying this particular information to 2 different or 3 different locations automatically, without informing me, without taking any physical information with the people. So if every single industry, I'll talk upon the industry also, I'll talk upon the kind of projects or products can be developed with those industries. So let me tell you, if every single automation, if in your mind will be visualized, I'm sure will take a huge will require a huge amount of investment. and if with respect to PLC and SCADA, with respect to other microcontrollers or other controlling devices were available earlier, till last decade, right? So we're entering to third decade of 20th century, 21st century, I would say, and in this particular decade, people are expecting that every single industry, since your agriculture to healthcare to security systems to home automations to your industrial automation, maybe the street light, right? Maybe garbage collectors, maybe you'll talk upon the smart cities, smart grid solutions, right? Maybe in sports also, in entertainment also, right? In many different kind of solutions, in many different kind of industries, I'm sure you would experience this IoT ecosystem right from the completion of this particular pandemic situation. This pandemic situation, I believe, has given a lot of losses in many respects, maybe in terms of business, in terms of education, in terms of different scenarios, right? But one thing which I hope good has happened because of this pandemic situation is that we got time to learn something new. We at least got to know about the new field, and yes, if time permits us, we can cope up with that particular kind of learning also, right? So why IoT ecosystem? I have one single biggest answer of this particular question about the ecosystem, right, formation, and that is the cost implementation of automatic sector or automatic systems nowadays. And that is, if you want to reduce the cost, if you want to implement huge amount of devices at one place to get the accurate information of the scenarios, of the environment, of the parameters, so you would get in less cost compared to the earlier implementation cost. So this is why IoT. Yes, apart from this, you can answer ease of access, ease of doing, ease of life, is the other parameters people are picking this IoT ecosystem. That's why industries are coming with the IoT ecosystem, right? So what is IoT? However, sir has already explained, but this is my explanation altogether, maybe a little bit different from sir also, right? So I feel this IoT is not to be considered with the internet service which we get in mobile phone every day, right? We used to browse internet and browse the information on different kind of browser in mobile phone or laptop, right? So it's not that kind of internet which we are talking about, internet of things, right? So things, yes, sir has told already that thing which we are talking about, devices. So my understanding about this topic is totally clear about this particular small line of internetworking of things, right, or internetworking of devices. So every single computing device, every single sensory device, every single embedded device, if I should not explain you about embedded systems now. So if any particular microcontroller is connected with with input output devices, and if you have formed a particular box of it, if you have formed a particular device of it, and this device has a role of completing one of the tasks or few multiple tasks at one place only, and want to share this information to other devices available in nearby environment, right, physically or wirelessly. Let me repeat my words once again. If one device, suppose this is one of the device I'm showing with the camera, right? I have my camera, right? So if one of the device, if this is one of the device, like Internet of Things picture is there, and it is for clearing every particular doubt, I believe. Suppose every single device is capable of doing some small different tasks, right? Camera will be capturing the images. This music player will be playing the music, right? In home automation, we have number of appliances, right? We have pulse rate sensors, we have different kind of devices we have. So every single is quite capable of working for number of issues and doing some ease of access, right? But what if every single device wants to share these kind of information to each other? If you will take an example in your home also, what if your AC will talk to your fan? Your fan will talk to your light. light will talk, or all these three devices will talk to fridge, maybe the other part of the appliances in your home, right? So if everything will be connected and will be sharing the information to each other, and that is where networking will be taking place. So networking is kind of process, kind of method where devices are going to communicate to each other, and that communication is nothing but the sharing of information, right? So if we got hundreds of devices, thousands of devices, and then all these kind of devices are communicating to each other, sharing information in different ways, right? So this is where the IoT has taken place. So IoT is nothing but, IoT is not a device. IoT is not a IoT is not a field. IoT is not that particular maybe nowadays people are talking about a tool, right? IoT is not a tool, so it's not toolbox. So IoT is completely a ecosystem where couple of different kind of engineering branches, couple of devices, couple of solutions are combined together to make a particular different domain of working of devices, right? So internetworking of devices is the correct, purest, finest, small definition of IoT, which I believe, right? So internetworking, maybe it can be because of internet, it can be because of without internet also, it can be because of LAN cable, it could be because of OFC cable, optical fiber communication cable also, it can be through USB cables, it could be through your switches, routers, right? Doesn't matter whether how physically or wirelessly, all such devices are going to communicate to each other, right? But anyways, with internet or without internet, devices are able to communicate to each other. So that place where such devices are communicating each other, and that place could be of 10 meter of range, that place could be of 100 meters of range, like a building also. You can talk about a particular mall, right? You can talk about a hospital area, you can talk about a city, you can talk about a country or a state also. So anyhow, if number of devices with any media means any like wireless, in wireless category, Wi-Fi is the media, Bluetooth is the media, Z-Wave is the media, Zigbee is the media, right? So all such devices are the media to share your information from one place to another wirelessly, right? Likewise, in wired mode, we have LAN cable, we have parallel connections, we have USB connections, we have serial wires also, or serial connections also, OFC cable also. So either the way, either your physical connection is taking place, or your wireless connections are taking place. Every single device which you want to form a particular particular task, in combination of all such devices, then this is where we talk about Internet of Things, right? You may have number of questions. I'll ask your questions also to put up, and I'll try to answer those questions. You may have contradictory understanding about this particular definition also, but this is what I personally felt because of developing couple of devices, couple of products of different industries also. I'm connected with kind of different industries where couple of couple of IoT products which I am working with them, and I have developed these sensors to make IoT ecosystems for those industries, right? So this is what I've personally felt about. So please don't confuse with the term internet. This internet is not that internet which we got in mobile phone as a service, right? And this is what people talk about the IoT, right? This is where if there are things are say sharing information because of IP, right? Internet protocol to directly to a server. This server could be your website. This server could be your a computer. This server could be anything which will be receiving your information, and which will head the which will head the information exchange between all the devices available here, right? What if this IoT server is not available? Forget about this IoT server, forget about this small thing part and big thing part. Let us talk about the middle part only, right? If we have gateway is nothing but a kind of device. I'll show you gateways also, right? What if like in your home or in your college, in your environment, you might have seen those wireless routers of Wi-Fi, right, where we have two antennas placed on those devices. So those devices could be considered as a gateway also for us, right? So suppose we have a gateway could be Raspberry Pi also. Let me clear you one thing. This gateway could be Raspberry Pi also, and that's what I was talking about. So if your Raspberry Pi is there, if your RF means wireless or wired connection is taking place between number of other devices, between number of other sensors. Suppose one sensor is there in my home, I placed in a kitchen. Let me repeat once again. If I have placed one of the sensor in my kitchen, and smoke sensor, that was the smoke sensor which was there for detecting the smoke in my kitchen, or maybe detecting the LPG leakage, right, in the kitchen. So what if after detection that particular sensor will inform to this gateway, because in my home there are many other sensors are placed, maybe at my garage, to just sense my car is available or not. Suppose my fridge is having some sensors. I'm having some sensor placed in my room also, right? So my AC, my lightings, right, my fan, other maybe switching devices, every single device was connected with one of the separate maybe separate sensor or mechanism, microcontroller mechanism with. So every single device, if connected with this particular gateway, either with wired or wireless connections, so this will also create a IoT ecosystem. It doesn't mean whether this information necessarily be sent to particular IoT server or not. If I'm not required, if my application is not requiring any particular internet connection, if my application is not requiring any particular internet facility, so why do I need this IoT server then, right? So if my home is concerned only, so I can have this home connected with my wireless router, right? And this wireless router will generate a particular Wi-Fi hotspot, and I will connect my mobile phone with that hotspot, right, in my home only. So I'm not going away from my home. I'm not checking my data of my home at the kilometer of distance, right? In my office, I'm not able to check the data of my home. But what if I'm sitting in my bedroom, and also I'm watching all such informations coming from all the different sensors in the home, placed at different locations. So that is also a part of IoT, right? So please don't get confused about the term. Right now people are buzzing with the different kind of opinions. This is my opinion of explanation of this particular IoT field, right? So these are the fields which are governed, and these are few of the field which I picked up, right, which are concerned also. So I have made devices for agriculture, made for smart grid solutions, security systems, automobile, healthcare, supply chain, home automation, wearable, right, and smart city. Yes, I've gone through with this particular industry, and recently I've got one of the project of healthcare, management of the sport personality also, right? The people who are good in sports, or they're playing sports, right, and they need to measure different kind of body parameters. Maybe suppose you might have gone to watch the videos on YouTube about Usain Bolt, right, the fastest runner in the world right now, right? So you will see the technique of that particular person. If you will talk about the football, right, there are many people, like many footballer popular in the world. Maybe Lionel Messi is there, and Ronaldo is there, right? So what if we want to have the analysis upon those kind of people who are best in the game, right? What if I'm talking about the Lataji, right, or Sachin Tendulkar, maybe the Virat Kohli, right? I want to have the analysis of those kind of people or personality of different kind, right? I want to analyze the voice of Lataji, right? How does she sing the different songs, right, and what kind of melody she has in her voice, right? So such kind of information, if you want to just process and want to compare with other people also at a particular location where you are getting a huge amount of information from different people at one place, so where there is a kind of information exchange in between the devices, is basically concerned with the IoT right now. So IoT in healthcare, because of this particular example, you can see if you are placed with different kind of sensor on the body and you want to send this information via internet or without internet, via this gateway, right, to a doctor. If doctor is placed at at different location, at far location, and he is able to watch the analytical report of this particular body through internet. Yes, there is a part of internet in healthcare also for IoT, right? So IoT in farming, if you have placed different sensors at different places in the field, right, you want to monitor the soil moisture level in the field, you want to measure the lightning conditions, right, maybe photosynthesis of the plant will be taking place because of many parameters, right? So if all such parameters of that particular soil, maybe the location of that particular land, right, if that location will be in Rajasthan, maybe in Madhya Pradesh, maybe in southern part of India, like I have visited almost every single smallest city of the country. Maybe if you'll talk about Srinagar, Jammu till maybe Kanyakumari, in south also I have lived for 5-6 years, right? So I've seen like atmospheric condition are different, and land parameters for different kind of crops are different. So you can place number of sensors at different locations. What if this particular sensor of first place is placed with the 300-meter distance of this another one, and likewise the another sensor is placed at 300 a meter of distance or 500-meter of distance. What if this area is of 10 kilometer of range? So in that 10 kilometer of range, if you are required to get the information of different kind of sensors, so are you required a kind of internet every time? Do you think every time we'll get the internet at such kind of remote areas, in the forest, in the field also? We may not get also, right? We may get quite good internet sometime, maybe sometime weak connectivity issues also, right? So we cannot form such kind of IoT ecosystem in the field of IoT farming with IP based solutions or internet based solutions, right? So still IoT is taking place at such kind of remote areas location also, with or without internet, with IP based solution or without IP based solution also. I'll tell you whether what kind of solutions are available for such remote area locations. Then in IoT in sports, yes, if you want to measure such kind of analytical parameters, you can choose IoT ecosystem, or you can build IoT products for sports also, right? These sports personalities needed. Suppose I want to be a cricketer and I want to play I want to be a batsman, right? So I want somebody with my same enthusiasm, right? The another bowler also, or the fielders also, right? For fielding I can place a net, but for for bowling purpose, nowadays we got a kind of machineries where those machinery will be pushing the balls again and again. If you'll put hundreds of balls, so they will be putting your different kind of balls every time, and they will record your analytical report of batting styles also, whether how well you are improving in that way. So IoT in sports, IoT in home automation, IoT is available at different kind of platforms, right?